Okay, good evening, guys. Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to our weekly quickfire session. Okay, today is the every time when the session starts, I have to go and count again and again, because I keep losing count. Previously, for the past don't know how many sessions, I haven't been doing a lot of counting. So after I counted, it's supposed to be session 18 today. I think I don't know, said I've done session 18 for how many times already. It's like 第几个18了 but never mind. Yeah, anyway, this is the 18th session. I think from here onwards, I'll start to continue to keep track and put the number on the title itself. So this is the 18th session of the quickfire session. So once again, welcome everyone. So the basically what this quickfire session does, for those of you who are here for the first time, is where we'll be here every week on a fixed day and timing to open up this 2 hours for people to actually come in with questions. Whoever that got questions want to ask regarding their max revision, or maybe you all went through some homework questions you all need help in, then you all can just come into the various social media platforms and interact with me. Okay, so we are currently live on both Facebook and YouTube. So whoever got any questions or whatsoever, you guys can just straight away just leave a comment in the various platforms. Okay, then in other case, I'll be just taking out random topics and papers to go through with the people who are watching the stream. So probably in the future, then we will take these videos and then we will re-edit them, we will repurpose them to make it into short snippets and all. But otherwise, you can just take it as a mini lecture for those of you who are just listening through. Okay. And sometimes I may take on certain topics that you guys are not maybe not haven't heard of or haven't learned yet. Maybe I'm going through like set 3 stuff, but you guys are only P6. Okay, fair enough. Just take it as an exposure for yourself. But of course, like I said, if you guys have your own questions within your own level and you all need some help for me to walk you through the questions, okay, feel free to just let me know in the chat itself. Then I can just stop my own teaching and then I'll just attend to you. Otherwise, it will just be continuously just be me teaching and all. Okay. So that's the purpose for this quickfire. So that's why I call it a quickfire. It's meant to be, you have questions, you come to me, then I'll ask, then you ask, then I'll answer. So it's meant to be more of a more mutual communication process. As compared to I set up a few prefix topics in advance, and then you all will just come in as and when you guys need the help. Okay, I feel that there are other tutors out there who have done it many more times, and then they are more experienced, they are more established in those. Okay, for me, I want to make it such that it's a two-way communication thing. So if you have something to ask, then you just come on in, and then I'll just go through, and then we can just learn along the process. Okay, I always believe that it's always a mutual learning process. I learn something from you, you learn something from me. So it takes two hands to clap. That's what I really and I truly believe. That's why I want to make this session a bit more different than what the market is having out there. Okay. But in any case, if there are no questions and whatsoever, today I've also arranged to go through a Sec 4 E-Max mock paper. Okay, I know that now we are in the June holidays. Okay, especially for the graduating students for P6 and Sec 4, you guys are going to take your national exams in a couple of months' time. So you guys need this exam training to help you to simulate an exam environment for you guys to take papers, and also to see where are you at right now. Are you ready for the exams? Are you still struggling with the fundamentals? Are you still hoping just on the mediocre standards, or are you guys still struggling to finish the paper? Okay, I've heard many students who up till today they are still struggling with finishing the paper on time. That means by the time the exam duration ends, there are still questions left unanswered, which is not supposed to be the case, because the the time allocation that is given to you guys should be very well sufficient for you guys to complete all the questions with confidence, and also you have checked through everything, and then you guys are able to score the best marks. Like especially for the subject matter for mathematics, it is a subject that I always tell the parents, the tutees themselves, that mathematics is something that you can score full marks in, even from primary school, secondary school, all the way to university. Mathematics is still remains as the one, and I would say one of the very few subjects that can still score full marks, which is up to today, it is still doable, even though the questions, the variety, and the scope, the difficulty has evolved over the years. Every year you'll see parents sharing about how difficult the PSLE maths questions are. Then they have evolved it such that the children and the parents themselves don't even know what's going on, and then they complain that the questions are too difficult, blah 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 blah. Okay, so every year the pattern and tradition still continues. Okay, but however, my stand is that if the children actually think a bit more deeper, then the parents do follow the trends of how the questions are being structured, how the contents are being taught in school, how the syllabus have adjusted over the years, especially during the last 3 years where we got a pandemic, the COVID-19 stuff, and some of the topics are being removed, they are being adjusted. A lot of pacing has been adjusted and changed over the past 3 years. It is even more important for parents to be aware of the changes and what their children will be expecting. Of course, we are not saying about requiring the parents to know every single content and knowledge point in order to teach the kids and guide them. But it's more on understanding how has the school adapted to the pandemic and how the teaching has changed since then. So I believe as long as the parents are still in close contact with the school and know what is their big direction moving forward, that is, I believe that is already the very big step forward for parents to keep themselves updated in today's landscape. Because especially also with the new changes in the education system, like the AL system, and then from next year onwards, there will be subject-based banding, all that stuff. So it is even more important for parents to keep up, because we can no longer use our own standards and say that, hey, last time my standard was like express, normal acad, normal tech. Then even way earlier, we got things like band 1, band 2, band 3, band 4. For those of you who went through the Singapore education system in the early years, you guys will still remember, band 1 means 100 to 75. Band 2 means 75 to 50. Band 3 means 45 to at least 50 to 25. Band 4 is like fail. Something like that. I also forget it. I think band 4 is a fail, but band 3 is just like merely passing. C. Something like that. So the changes has been quite little since the past, but ever since the recent years, especially adjusting to the pandemic, the changes are getting more and more frequent. And especially where band 1 is no longer existent, now we are moving on to the grade system, and then from grade system moving on to AL system, and then for AL system moving on to subject-based banding, and then 3 years later, 2027, O levels will be removed. Okay, it has been confirmed already. O levels is going to be removed, and they are going to come out with a Singapore/Cambridge unique certificate. It's called SEC. Basically, it's as like a uniquely Singaporean certificate that grades the students according to the different difficulty levels of the subjects that the students are taking in. So it's going to be a very new, fresh take into the education system and what our children, or maybe for some of you, okay, maybe not some of you, maybe I'll say for most of you, your children, maybe for some of you who are more elderly, then maybe you're like your grandchildren. Yeah. So the changes that and how our students nowadays are going to cope with these adjustments is going to be another whole new different story. How the teachers, in fact, now the teachers in the school right now are about my age, which are people who went through the early years of education. So the teachers themselves, as educators, as the frontliners in the schools today, they are also adapting to the changes that is happening. So I would say that everyone right now, the ministry, the teachers, the principals, the students, everyone is going through this learning phase, this learning adjustment phase. And especially when it's coming, when all these news are being released and being pilot tested, and then going through the testing phase, the experimental phase, and then from until it's officially rolled out, it takes a very long process. It takes a very long process. So I also do understand that parents are also struggling to keep up with this kind of changes. So I would say parents nowadays, of course, parents nowadays are more educated and they are more aware. They are able to read up more about like the information, the news and updates and all. Okay, so it requires more from parents to keep up. Yeah, parents can no longer just say leave everything to the school and then just just let it be, let the school do their magic, let them do their own, let the school go and fully teach the children. It is no longer possible. It's no longer possible. Okay. And then when you see people are turning more and more towards the tuition industry, where in the cabinet, in the parliament, when the ministers say that tuition is a multi-billion-dollar industry, okay, it's going to continue. It's going to continue. Okay, so on the other hand, on one side, the ministry is trying to like suppress the tuition industry. On the other hand, the changes that is coming up from the ministry is not really helping lah. So so it's kind of like contradicting ends. Like I said, if you stand on either side, they will all have their own valid points. You see, from the tuition industry point of view and from the Ministry of Education point of view, both sides have their own perspective and take to it. So, but ultimately, through all this frenzy, all this discussion that's going on, who is going to be the ones that is going through the process, which is our kids. They're our kids, the students of today. So therefore, it is very important for the parents of these students to really, I would say protect a good word, maybe to, in a way, to be with the children in this process, to tide through these changes. Because for every change that is coming up from the ministry, it will take a wave of a reaction and a response until it becomes a norm and it becomes stagnant. Then maybe many years later, another new change comes about. Okay, so that's why the tuition services that we are doing also for me and my wife is also not just in terms of providing academic excellence to the parents, but to the students, but also to the parents, because we see a big need for parents to be also aware of what's going on right now. So we also do academic consulting and also do academic counseling. So it's not just a normal academic tuition like any other like tuition center and all that stuff, but we want to actually share a bit more. We want to let parents of today's society understand that the landscape has changed a lot ever since our days. We can no longer say that, oh, 我们吃的盐比你吃的米多. We cannot say that kind of phrases anymore. That's very outdated already. So correct. So we must continue to keep up with the times and therefore to adjust but ultimately the parents' understanding is one thing, to be with the children and is to be with the children and to support the children in terms of the learning journey. But another very important benefit for parents to be in the loop is for the parents themselves to manage their own expectations. I think that's also pretty important because we cannot use our past benchmarks and expectations on today's kids. Okay, because back then we were being marked differently. We were being graded differently in terms of our scores, in terms of our performance. But through all these adjustments that is happening right now, we need to re-look at the expectations that we are setting on our kids, because it's going to be different from how our parents set the expectation for us. The methods of teaching and guiding could be the same, but the expectations that we're going to get from our children is going to be very different. If the children is good at certain subjects, they have, and maybe not so bad, not so good in the other subjects, when they enter secondary school, they will have the choice to take the subjects that they are better in at a higher level, and then those that are weaker in at a lower level. So this allows them, the ministry point is that they want to make it less stressful for the children, so as not to just to push for everything, push for all subjects and all. Okay. Yes, we hear that, just that we feel that maybe that's why the parents themselves need to manage the expectations a bit more, and to really understand that children nowadays work very differently. And that is what MAP is here for. And we want to bring this message to all the parents who are right now struggling and having a lot of troubles over their kids nowadays. Okay, so we do welcome queries to come in and to talk to us and to find out more about how can we together help support your kids at this current day age. Okay, yeah, so that's mainly for my company and what we aim to achieve. Okay, so ultimately we want to create happy families. It's really about happy families. Okay, because no matter how good the academic ability of the kids are, it shouldn't be impacting how the family relationships are in the family itself, in the whole family structure. Okay, it shouldn't. In the past, exams and grades are really detrimental, and they are really like the most key factor to how the family will do in future. But now it's no longer the case. It's no longer the case. Yeah. So we want to really create happy families for people to, to stay well and happy and harmonious in this age. That's very important. Okay. Yeah. So enough for the sharing. So as mentioned, that today I will enter into the Sec 4 E-Max paper. So for those of you who are watching, for those of you who wants to do like revision on your own, okay, by all means, feel free to do so, because I will just be sharing my screen. At the same time, I will be going through the questions as well. I'll try to see I try to go as many questions as I can. I try to go as far as I can. But I don't think I'll be able to do everything because it's a Sec 4 paper. Technically, the whole paper should take about 2 hours. The full paper, because I'm going through paper 2. So paper 2 should take up 2 hours. Okay, so the time now is already like 20 minutes into 5 o'clock. So I try my best to cover as many questions as I can. So then for you guys, if you guys saw the questions already, you guys can go ahead and start first. Okay, this is just best revision for you, with me guiding you all through. Okay. Okay, let's go. With that, let's get started. Okay. Okay, question 1, calculate this whole thing. Okay, calculate. When they say calculate this whole thing, right, there's no questions asked. Miss asks you to do your calculator skills. Okay, calculator skills. Just key in everything to the calculator and ensure that you get the correct answer. Okay, I will do the same as well. So let's get started. Okay, minus 9, minus 9, minus. So it's a plus lah. So I can just say it's plus, okay? So it's 9 minus cube root of this whole thing in there, 19 times 324 minus 4 times negative 43. Okay, because I know that I have memorized my squares, so I know that 18 square is positive 324 without question. So that is what I'll key into my calculator straight away. Okay, and then I divide by 10.8 because I know that 3 times 3.6 is 10.8. So it's always good to know a bit of mental calculation. So it's to aid you in your calculating skills. So the answer that I got is 0.879302663. Okay, so I believe there's no, because in the paper they always specify if there is no if the answer is not accurate, okay, always round it off to 3 sig fig. If I round it off to 3 sig fig, it will be 879 to 3 sig fig. Okay, so this is just a calculator question. Very quick, very straightforward. Okay, let me just quickly calculate one more time to ensure that I'm getting the correct answer. Cube root of 19 times 324 minus 4 times negative 43. Okay, then divide by 10.8. Yes, correct. 0.879302663. Okay, very straightforward, very simple. Let's move on. Okay, question 2. Given that y is directly proportional to the 3x plus 7 square, that's very bad English, by the way. Okay, given that y is 6 and x is 4, express y in terms of x. Okay, for this kind of questions, look at here. What's the keyword? Directly proportional. So straight away, write down the function, which is y equals to k times 3x plus 7 whole thing squared. And of course, for proportion questions, what is the first thing that you want to do? Definitely to find k. No matter whether is it direct, indirect, it's always to find a k. So from here, I already have a given set of values. Y is 6 when x is negative 4. So just sub it in. So 6 equals to k times negative 12 plus 7 squared, which is k times minus 12 plus 7 is negative 5. So it's 25k. So therefore, k is how many? K is 6 over 25. And when they say express y in terms of x, that means I want to know that y equals to 6 over 25 multiplied by 3x plus 7 squared. So this is my answer. Okay. Divide it in. 4 minutes. Okay, so from here, next part. Hence, find the values of x when y equals to 15.36. So all you need to do, very straightforward, put the value of y into this function that we got. So 15.36 equals to 6 over 25 times 3x plus 7 squared. Okay, so for those of you who don't know how to manipulate this, please go and revise on your Sec 2 algebraic manipulation. So it'll be 25 times 15.36 equals to 6 times 3x plus 7 squared. Okay, so let's get the answer, which is 384. Can we continue to solve from here? Yes, we can. So 3x plus 7 squared equals to 384 divided by 6 will be 64. So 3x plus 7 would be how many? Plus and minus 8. Okay, not just 8, it's plus and minus 8. So because it's squared term, so 3x plus 7 equals to 8. Okay, write in meter or minus 8. Therefore, x equals to how many? If 3x equals to either 1 or negative 15. So x equals to 1/3 or negative 5. So x equals to 1/3 or negative 5. Just like that. Okay. Okay, I want to check that my stream is working. Oh, it's not working. Haha. Okay, it should be working now. Okay, yeah, it's working. Okay, so if you guys are online and you guys saw the stream, okay, just go ahead and look into it. Okay, I'm not able to see my YouTube and Facebook concurrently today because of the screen issue, but I try my best to use my other devices if I can. My videos, one view. Yeah, correct. 6 days ago, I put that I'm in session 18. So now I should be in session 19. Never mind, I go and change later. Don't know how many people have seen I do session 18 in, but whatever. Okay. Okay, let's continue. Okay, simplify for maybe I change my color to maybe I change my marker color. It's a bit dark. Okay, simplify 4 over AW square, it divided by 16A cube, divided by 5W. At this point of time, you must know that this is on indices. Okay, and when you see all this, don't panic. Look at it one by one. Okay, don't freak out and like don't know what to do. Okay, so straight away, the first thing that I want to do is obviously to change my signs, and then I will change the second term to its reciprocal. That's the best way. Okay, before we go and do anything else. Okay, so from here, let's have a closer look. So we see from here, there are certain terms that we can actually cancel and simplify. For example, the 4 and 16 will become 1 and 4. Okay, the W and the W over here gets cancelled out because W square means W times W. So I can cancel 1W from each place. Okay, so as we look at that, we got nothing else. All right, so let's circle the rest that we need to look into. So 1, 5AW, 4A cube. These are things that we need to combine and put them into one term. So it will be 5 over 4A to the power of 4W. So this shall, oops, sorry. What happened to my answer? All put in here. Well done. I just started. Ayo, never mind. I just write in my answers. Ayo. Okay, y equals, lucky I still remember my answers. And then this one is x equals to minus x equals to 1/3 or -5. Hi, lucky I just started only. Okay, I just press done first, just in case, and then I go back in. Come on, please load for me. Come on. Okay, there we go. Okay, so back here, times 5W over 16A cube. Okay, same thing. Simplify, cancel for 1. W and this A cancel, so I'm left with 1, 5, AW, and an A cube. So I bring everything together, I'll get 5 over 4A to the power of 4W. And that shall be my answer. So 5 over 4A to the power of 4W. Okay. Quite simple and straightforward, because the instruction says simplify, means don't need to solve for anything. Just make it as simple as you can. Simplify means you can kill off the terms, cancel the terms, clean up your stuff. Okay, that is the purpose of simplification. Okay, let's continue. A company used the following line graph to show the annual profits made over a period of time. State one as well, the graph that may be misleading and explain how the annual profits in 2023 can be projected wrongly. Okay, a lot of points we can talk about. Okay, I will keep it short and simple. Number 1, it does not start from the origin. Does not start from 0. That's the thing. Okay. So what you will also explain what is the impact when it doesn't start from 0. Okay, because technically the graph, according to the graph, it should be $7 billion and above. However, it cannot start from, it just started from 3. Okay, so technically it should be starting from 0. Okay, so I say it does not start from 0, but 3 instead. So how can it projected? How the annual profits in 2023 can be projected wrongly? Okay, so from here, how can this be projected wrongly? Technically, this error does not impact the graph, but it just shows that this graph is not accurate already. This graph is not accurate in projecting sales figures. Okay, technically, if you have a company, you have an employee that create this kind of table, the first thing you can do, right, and the only thing you can do, right, is to sack him. Okay, if up to today, if they are still producing such a table, this person cannot use it. Confirm. Don't need to say already. He's not suitable for the job. Okay. So first thing you can say, it doesn't start with 3. And number 2, here, how can it be misleading? Because we cannot use, technically, we just cannot use we cannot use past experience to see future results. That's the base concept. Okay. How it cannot be produced. Okay. So how do we say that may be misleading? An error that may be misleading. Technically, you just cannot use current results to produce future results. That's basically it. Okay. But okay, let's see. How will be misleading? Okay, so we say that a new line is plotted. A new straight line is plotted. Straight line to plotted for 2023 figures. Okay, but why is it can be projected wrongly? Because current and old figures cannot be used for projecting future figures or projections. Okay, either point 1 or point 2. Okay, are there other points? Yes, there are a lot of other points. Number 1, there's missing numbers over here: 2026, 2027, 2016, all the way to 2021 missing. Okay, so we cannot assume that the numbers from 2016 to 2021 is constantly rising throughout. There may be ups and downs. We cannot say that. Okay, and also we cannot say that, because if I were to really look at this very strictly, the measurements from 7 to 8 and 8 to 9 is actually not uniform. So we cannot, this graph, the axis is being plotted inaccurately. Okay, so that could be a 4th point. So 4th point is here, 3rd point is here. Okay, so there are many points that we can talk about. As long as you hit one of them, you are good. Okay, let's move on. The ratio of the area of a hexagon to the area of an equilateral is 49 to 9. Show that the perimeter of a regular heptagon to the perimeter of a triangle is 42 to 9. Okay, for this is just a very simple questions on areas and scales. Okay, so when they say area scale, they already given you the area is 49 to 9. So what can we say about the lengths, the respecting lengths? Okay, area is a square. Okay, so that means the area square numbers, right? The area numbers, right, are supposed to be square numbers. So for the length, what do? We just square root both sides. That should be 7 to 3. So show that the perimeter of the regular heptagon to the perimeter of triangle is 42 to 9. Okay, from here, in this 7 to 3, what can we safely say? We can just safely assume that if this is 7 units, Then the triangle 3 units. So for the perimeter, I think they had a typo error here. It's supposed to be hexagon, not heptagon. Heptagon is 7 sides. Hexagon. Okay, so the perimeter of a hexagon will be 7 times 6 is 42. Okay, and for the triangle, it will be 3 times 3 equals to 9. So therefore, the perimeter of a hexagon to the perimeter of a triangle will therefore be 42 to 9 because of this. So what is more important in the working? The more important working is this one and this one, to show that the length scale for the different shapes is 7 to 3. So in order to find the perimeter, you will multiply it by the number of sides, basically. They already show you in the diagram how many sides is there, so no reason to get it wrong. Yes, in exams, if you see such typo errors, hexagon, heptagon, you have the very right to sound off. Of course, it's quite unlikely to appear in exams, either is it PSLE or O-level. Quite unlikely, but if really happens, you can go and ask and raise your hand. Okay? Okay, all good? So therefore is answer. Okay, come, let's go on. Speed. Okay, very famous Sec 2 topic. Now A and okay, this is like algebra. Okay, A and B are 100 kilometers apart. At 8 o'clock, James depart from B from A, driving at a constant speed of 70 kilometers per hour. Kim departs at the same time as James from town A from town B, driving at a constant speed of 50 kilometers. At what time will James and Kim pass each other? Okay, two different people starting from two different ends. This one very important. So let's go and draw it out first. You need to understand what is the traveling distance for each of the people. Let's call this A, let's call this B. Okay, James start from A moving to B. So James is going here. It starts at 8 o'clock and it's 70 kilometers per hour. And on the other hand, Kim started at the same timing, which is 8 o'clock. Okay, it's important to write all this information down. Okay, so that we don't remember, so that we don't forget it. At 50 kilometers per hour. So at what time will they pass each other? Okay, and we know that these two distances are 100 kilometers apart. Okay, so what can we say about the distances as traveled by each of them? Can we say that we assume, okay, we say let the time they meet is X hours. That means they travel, so for each of them, they both travel for X hours and then they will meet at some point in this journey. Okay, so what can how can we generate an algebraic expression with this X so that it can help us solve for X? Okay, so for James, what do we see for James? For James, right, he'll be traveling how many? He'll be traveling X over 1 times 70 kilometers. That is what we are looking at. Okay, because it's travel, because how do we explain this? So for James, it'll be 1 hour is 70 kilometers. I travel for X hours. That means I'm looking at 70x kilometers. That's for James. On the other hand, for Kim, 1 hour is 50 kilometers. For X hours, it will be 50x kilometers. So when they meet together, they meet each other at some point. What does it mean? It means the total distance traveled for James and the total distance traveled for Kim must come together and form the full distance, which is 100. So therefore, 70x plus 50x is 100 kilometers. Therefore, 120x equals to 100 kilometers. And x equals to 100 over 120, which is 5 over 6 hours. And 5 over 6 hours, which is equals to 50 minutes. This one very important, we must know. That means what? After they travel for 50 minutes, they will see each other. But is my answer 50? No, because they're asking for what time? That means it's 50 minutes from what time? 50 minutes from 8 o'clock. So the answer is 0850. That would be my answer. Okay. I do spend a bit of space on drawing the diagram because it is very important to link the information and to draw relevant diagrams to help us understand the question better. That's what I always believe in. So I don't mind spending half a page, right, just to diagram. It's okay. That's how I see them. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Next question. A bag contains 2 gold balls, R red balls, and S silver balls, where R and S, R multiplied by S is a prime number, and R is less than S. The total number of balls is 10. Okay, interesting. So find the probability of choosing a non-gold ball. Non-gold ball. There are 10 balls. There are 2 gold balls. How many non-gold balls are there? 8 lah. Okay. Okay, and the probability of choosing a non-gold ball is just 8 out of 10. Right? 8 out of 10. So you can just say 8 out of 10. Straightforward. Of course, simplify that, of course. 4/5. Okay, so from here, 2 marks, find the probability of choosing a red ball. Here's the very interesting thing. Because I know that R multiplied by S is a prime number. And R plus S must be equal to 8. Because R plus S is the number of non-gold balls that I have. Okay, so from here, can we actually go and determine what is the value for R and S? It's actually pretty straightforward. Because why? For prime numbers, there is lesser than 8. What are they? 1. Okay, 1 is not even a prime, okay? 2, 3, 5, 7. And what are the numbers that can only fit the bill? The only number that can fit the bill is what? 7. So therefore, R is, so the 2 numbers is 1 and 7. And since they already told me that R is less than S, I can safely assume that R is equal to 1 and S is equal to 7. Because this is the only combination that fits the bill. That's all. Okay, so the probability of choosing a red ball, because there's only 1 red ball, it's 1/10. That's all. 2 marks. Okay, or you want to write the statement, up to you lah. Not really crucial at this point in time, really. But yeah. Okay. But the most important working in this 2 mark question, you must know what to write. When I say that this is not important, writing the probability, the statement is not important. We must show that through our deduction, we know that R is 1 and S is 7 and no other numbers. Therefore, we can straight away say the probability of choosing a red ball is 1 out of 10. So this is the 1 mark. And this is my 2nd mark. Okay? Okay, let's move on. Solve the equation. This one, no brainer. Please, for those of you who are still struggling with this, you guys will need this one. All you need to do is drill. Drill and drill and drill. Drill until the point, right, that you have muscle memory on this. When you see some question, you know immediately how to do. Okay, so straight away, the first thing I want to do is I want to multiply both fractions away. Cross multiply the both fractions away. So 4x minus 3 times 3x minus 7 over 12 equals to 8. Then I bring the 12 over and then I expand the top at the same time. So it's equals to 4x minus 9x plus 21 equals to 96. So minus 5x equals to 96 minus 21, which is 75. So x equals to negative 15. That's all. Okay, 3 marks. Super straightforward. This one, really no-brainer. Just straight away go into the method. Just do your cross, and you'll know exactly what to do already. Okay, if you are still struggling at this at Sec 4, go back and look at your Sec 2 books. These are all in your Sec 2 material. Okay, and you should be very strong at your times table at this point in time. If you're counting fingers, there is something gravely wrong. Okay, so straight away, dive in, solve, manipulate, and you get the answer. Okay, I will not spend too much time on this because this is considered very fundamental. Okay, nah? Okay, let's go on. Okay, while I visit my stream as well. Okay, let's continue on this. Okay, continue. For 9a, simplified. Minus 4a plus minus 4, 2a plus b plus 7b minus 3a. Okay, looks like it's grouping, but it's not really grouping. Why? Because the things in the bracket are not the same. So what can we do from here? The only thing that we can do from here is to expand them manually. Okay, minus 8a minus 4b plus 7b minus 21a. Okay, so you do your course like this. And then from here, what we can do, we can group the like terms together. We got the a and a here. Minus 8 minus 21 minus 29a, 7b minus 4b plus 3b. And that is the best we can go. So minus 29a plus 3b. Okay, very straight up. It's only 2 marks. So shouldn't be very difficult for this one. Okay, of course, they must see that you have done this as a 1 mark and then this as your 2nd mark. That's why they makes it 2 marks. Okay. Okay, let's move on. Factorize completely. 12xy plus 6x squared minus 2y minus x. This one, the first thing I'll consider is, do I need to do grouping? Why? Because there are 4 terms. If you see 4 terms, normally it's grouping. Normally. And how we do grouping? We go and pair the terms 2 by 2. So we look at the first 2 terms. Is there a way I can factorize stuff out? Looks like I can though, because I can take out my 6x, leaving me 2y plus x. Okay, so on the other hand, I have minus 2y minus x. What do I want to do? Maybe I can take out minus 1 plus x. From here, I see that the things in my bracket are the same. So what do I group? I can group my 6x. So you see, something very weird here. There's no numbers here. How? Guys, if you see there's no number here, it's automatically known as a 1. So please don't put an empty spot there. Okay, just put in the minus 1. Okay, so 6x minus 1, 2y plus x. This is my answer. My wife asked, why must put minus 1? This minus 1 here is to remind yourself that there is a constant in front of a bracket. Because what happened previously is that when we look at the back 2 terms, minus 2y minus x, I want to make the bracket to be 2y plus x. So in fact, what are we exactly doing here? I'm going to take out minus 1 as a common factor, so that whatever that's left in the bracket, and when I expand it out like this, I'll get minus 2y minus x. So this minus 1 here is to signpost you that when you take the terms out to group, is 6x minus 1. It's like, for example, today you got 6x of apples minus an apple. So you have 6x minus 1 apples. Essentially, that's the idea. Okay, how? My wife says okay, it means I can go on already. My wife big, no choice. My wife said okay, I say okay. Okay no kidding. Okay, 好，可以。Okay, let's go on. Okay, subject of formula, another one, no brainer. This one, no brainer. No need to calculate, no need to think really. Just look at it and start manipulating on its own. Make B the subject of formula. 3B plus 8B equal to 2AB plus 5. First, let's observe. We want B. And you have B terms on two ends. So the idea is to throw all the things with B to one side and throw the rest to the other side. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Okay, so from here, 3B minus 2AB equals to 5 minus 8B. Okay, this is a very simple manipulation. Just throw over. Okay, and then from here, my left side, all the B terms are there. So what I want to do, I want to strip out the B. I want to common factorize my B. So when I take out my B, what have I left in my bracket? So 3 minus 2A. My right side stays the same. Now I'm done. I take everything over. That means I group all the B terms to one side, I strip out the B and I throw back everything else. Okay, so that's my answer. Very straightforward. So it's 5 minus 8D over 3 minus 2A. Of course, if there are lower secondary people watching this, take your time, understand the whole process. Okay, I call it the wrestling process because when you throw the terms back and forth the equal sign, the sign changes for the terms. Okay, so it's important for you to know what's going on at each point in step. Okay, if you need to take more time, go ahead. For secondary 4 students, this is a no-brainer to you. It should be straight away already. Okay. Okay, let's go on. So question 10, let's move on. In an either contest, 7/9 of the school population decided to vote. There were 3 contestants, and the votes for these contestants were divided in the ratio of 1/3 to 5/6 to 0.5. Given the school population has 1,440 students, calculate the number of students who voted for the contestants with the most votes. A bunch of words, but ultimately this question is still one of the very simple and straightforward ones. Okay, there are a lot of information. Let's look at one by one. First of all, in the first statement, they say that 7/9 of the school population decided to vote. And then over here, they say that the school population is 1,440 students. So at least let's say I have no idea what to do with the ratio. I don't know what to do with ratio. Got fraction, got decimal, got star, got ratio. Let's ignore that first. Can we at least find out how many people voted? That's the basis we can find. All right. So if I want to find the number of voters, that will be 7/9 times 1,440. Okay, this one I lazy mental calculate, I just take calculator, it doesn't matter. Okay, answer 1120. At the very least, get this down. It will secure you your first mark. Okay, now let's come back to the ratio. We got a ratio of 1/3 to 5/6 to 0.5. Okay, this looks very weird, but at the very least, can I convert all to fractions first? Okay, so let's say this is contestant A, contestant B, contestant C. 1/3 to 5/6 to half. So very interesting. Can we actually just, convert them to the same denominator so that we can compare? We got 2, we got 3, we got 6. Just change all the denominator to 6. Okay, so this one becomes 2/6, becomes 5/6, and this is 3/6. And do you see that now we have an equivalent ratio? Because if I multiply everything by 6, it's just 2 to 5 to 3. So this is the ratio that we should be observing at. Okay, so it becomes very straightforward already. Who is the contestant with the most votes? B. How many units? 5 units. Okay, very straightforward. So the total number of units over here is 2 plus 5 plus 3 is how many? 10 units. So here total 10 units. 10 units is 1120. And I want to find 5 units. All I need to do is to divide by 2. That's all. Done. So answer 560. Okay, a lot of people ask me, do I need to find 1 unit? 10 units is 1120, 1 unit is 112, so 5 units is 560. Answer is don't need. Don't waste your precious time. You got more times for more important things. Huh? Just straight away see the relationship between 10 units and 5 units. It's divide by 2 lah. So from here just divide by 2 lah. Okay, exercise some common sense lor. Okay. Lower secondary school questions are mainly based on common sense. Okay, if you can see the relation, just immediately use the relation to do it already. Don't, I understand that there are some schools, I have to clarify this. Some schools up to today still emphasize on finding 1 unit, especially for primary schools, P5, P6, when they just learn on rate, maybe like 1 hour, 300 pages, 5 hour, how many pages, okay? Or maybe they say, I don't know, 2 hours, 150 pages. What is 5 hours? Oh, because teachers say 1 hour have to find 1 unit, so 1 unit equal to 150 divided by 275 times 5375. Please don't do that, guys. Please don't do that. You guys are in secondary school already. That is for primary school. And in fact, for my primary school students, I disencourage using that already. Is discourage or disencourage? Discourage. Alamak, that's why I'm not teaching English. I discourage my primary school students from doing that. Just see the relation and do it accordingly. Just divide by the proportion. Please don't 1 unit. Don't waste your time. And then more bound to errors also. Not very good. So straight away, see the relationship. Because I want to find 5 units. So straight away, half of it. Done. Okay, let's continue. 12a. Express x squared plus 5x plus 4 in the form of x plus p squared plus q. Okay, for those of you who don't know, and to recap, this is a concept on completing the square. If you forgot what is completing the square, go and see your Sec 3 term 1 or term 2 books. That means it's your 3A. Go and look at your textbook 3A. This is where it's taught, because you guys are continuing on from learning quadratic equations. So completing the square is either end of Sec 2 or early Sec 3, depending on the school itself. Okay, so how to do completing the square? Same thing. As a Sec 4 student, this is a no-brainer. It should be practiced until very familiar already. Okay, so x squared plus 5x plus 4. What is the value of p? The value of p should be half of the second term. So it should be x plus 5/2 square. Straight away. Okay, and of course, after that, I need to put in the plus 4 because the plus 4 is from there, I cannot change it. But however, in order to compensate for this equation, what do I need to change? What do I need to do? I'll need to go and compensate for this amount, this extra square that I got. This extra square that I got, which is 25/4, which is x plus 5/2 square. And then this is a minus 9/4. Okay. So for those of you who are still scratching your heads about what's going on, let me just show you the full solution now. Okay. So I just do a short demonstration here. So x squared plus 5x plus 4. So basically what I want to do is I want to make the first 2 terms part of a perfect square. So in order to make it part of a perfect square, it should be x squared, because this x squared plus 5 is part of the a plus b equals to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared thing. Okay, this is supposed to be your algebra identities. You have learned it in Sec 2. Okay, so I want my 5x. Listen carefully. I want my 5x to be part of the solution for 2ab. So in order to make my 2ab a 5x and my a is already a 1, that means I must make my b should be 5/2 because it's supposed to be 2 over 5 over 2 times x ma. So you see that this is the term that I want to look at. And then therefore, this is my b. I created a b myself. So the one at the back should be 5 over 2 squared. So this will allow me to create a, okay, of course, this part, let me just segment out. This part is here. My plus 4 at the back still stays. It doesn't change. So I copy it down. And then from here, I can just shrink it together and make it like this. This is how I get my steps here. So for you to see, oh no, not here, the first line, which is here. Okay, so this is just a quick recap. But of course, by now, please, your Sec 4 already should be immediately can get the answer already. Okay, and then to compensate for the difference that is being added over here, I need to minus off, because you see from this case, right, I had to minus off 25 over 4 to compensate for the 25 over 4 that you created over here. So I have to compensate here. It's kind of like to make up for the deficit. So you have to deduct it back. Then from here, it's quite straightforward already. So minus 6. So it is 16 over 4 minus 25 over 4. You get minus 9 over 4. So therefore, x plus 5 over 2 squared minus 9 over 4. This is my answer. So P is 5 over 2. Q is minus 9 over 4. Okay, for those of you who need more detailed explanation on this part, drop me a PM or can contact me via my social media channels or my Telegrams or my Discord, okay, or my Xiaohongshu group if you guys are coming from Xiaohongshu. Okay, if you guys are seeing this, you all need more further explanation on this concept on completing the square, drop me a PM on those channels. I will walk you through step by step. Okay. Okay, so from here, moving on, sketch the graph of this graph. Sketch the graph of this graph. Okay. So now that we have already expressed that that expression into this form already, it will be very straightforward for us to plot what we need to do. Okay, so number one, there's 6 steps that we need to go and do to sketch our graph. Number one, you must determine whether it's a happy face or sad face. I mentioned in my previous streams, if it's a positive x squared, it should be a happy face. So it's a U shape. Okay, and then what else we need to do? We also need to understand where is our axial intercepts. Our axial intercepts is at, so from here, what we can do is we can solve for the equation, because the axial intercept is where it cuts the x-axis. Where it cuts the x-axis means when y is 0. So if I were to quickly solve for this thing using my observation method, like this, so I can see that it's very clear that the solutions for my y equal to 0 is at -1 and -4. This is where it will cut the x-axis. So from here, I know that both my lines should be here. So I zoom in a bit. So this is my -4, this is -1. So at the same time, I found my x-intercepts. I also need to find my y-intercepts. And how to find my y-intercept is when x equals to 0. When x is 0, what's my y? My y is 4. Because it's 4 times 1, 4. So at the same time, I also need to sketch my minimum point and my line of symmetry. Where's my line of symmetry? Here is the interesting part. From this form, can I find my line of symmetry? Actually, by right, if you remember your knowledge, it is immediately seen from this equation itself. If this is x plus 5 over 2y, Therefore, the midpoint will be minus 5/2. Okay, so I just do a quick straight line over here, then adjust. But of course, in your exam, you guys will be able to measure the using a ruler, and then you all will just adjust over there now, okay? So technically it should be a dotted line. So I'll just sorry. It's supposed to be a dotted line. So I'll just erase it off like this to make a dotted line. Okay, and then this point will be minus 5/2. This point will be minus 5/2. And my minimum point is also very obvious because my minimum point will be at minus 5/2, and it cuts the y coordinate will be how many? Minus 9/4, which is exactly this value. Okay, last but not least, we name the curve, which is y equal to x squared plus 5x plus 4. And this is the sketch. Indicate clearly where the graph crosses the x and the y axis. Very clearly stated for -1, -4. With these points and the name of the curve and the line of symmetry, this is a full mark question. Full mark answer. Okay. In fact, we have already given them more than enough things already. Okay. Sweet. Okay, let's move on. So write down the coordinates of the minimum point. Da-da! This is what exactly I was looking for. Minus 5/2, minus 9/4. Right there. Just right there. And then when they say write down, and they don't give you any space for workings, means you are not supposed to do workings. You are supposed to observe from the previous points and get the answer immediately. Anyway, it's a 1-mark question. 1-mark question means what? 1-mark question should be immediate. You should know the answer immediately, instantly. If you are thinking,什么来的? What is this? You are slow. That means you need more revision. Okay? Okay, let's move on. This one, A, standard form. Do you remember the standard forms or not? Okay, in 2010, the population of the UK is 6.7 times 10 to the power 7. In the same year, the population of Singapore is 4.7 times 10 to the power 6. How many people live in the UK than in Singapore in 2010? Give your answer in standard form up to do TP. Okay? So essentially, I'm going to take 6.3 times 10 to the power 7 minus of 4.7 times 10 to the power 6. Okay? So before we can do the 4 operations on the standard form, or in fact for plus and minus, one thing we must take note first, we must ensure that the powers of the 10 must be the same. Okay, so what we can do, I can express it as 63 times 10 to the power 7 minus 4.7 times 10 to the power 6. Okay, so from here it becomes 63 minus 4.7 times 10 to the power 6, which is 63 minus 4.7 will be 58.3. 58.3 times 10 to the power 6. But however, I need to leave it in standard form. This is not in standard form because my term over here is not between 1 to 10. I need to make it from 1 to 10. So I need to switch it back to 5.83 times 10 to the power 7. So the answer is 5.83 times 10 to the power 7. Very straightforward, very simple. Okay? Okay, part B. In Singapore, John pays 298 Sing dollars for 1 liter of petrol. On a visit to UK, he paid 5.88 euros or pound for 5 liters of petrol. 1 pound dollar is 1.7 Sing dollars. Is petrol cheaper in Singapore or UK? By how much? Or you give your answer in SG. By obvious, if you look at the numbers, it is damn obvious that it is pound dollar that is cheaper. Confirm one, no need to see one. Okay, let's compare dollar to dollar. Let's have a look. Okay, In Singapore, okay, 1 liter is 2.98. In UK, is 1 liter, 5 liter is 5.88. So can we at least find what is 1 liter in euro, which is 5.88 divided by 2, which is 2.94. No, divided by 5, sorry. So it's obviously cheaper. That's why I say it's obviously cheaper. I don't know what you're thinking, but yeah, it's quite no-brainer lah. 1.176. Obviously it's cheaper, goodness gracious. It's like more than twice cheaper lah. So okay, cool. So is petrol cheaper in Singapore or UK? Obviously UK. By how much? So we need to convert 1 pound dollar to 1.7 Sing dollars. So 1.176 times 1.7 is 1.9992 in Sing dollars. So I need to understand what is the difference. So the difference will be 298 minus 1.9992. 2.98 minus this answer, I'll get 0.9808. So if I round it off to 2 dB, because for cents is 0.98. So it's actually 98 cents cheaper. In fact, it's close to $1 cheaper already. For money, it's always 2 dB. For angles, 1 dB. The rest, 3 sig fig. Okay, this one's standard format. Won't run away. It's quite obvious actually. But of course, clear calculations must be done. Okay, so where's the 1 mark? The 1 mark is here when you go and understand that 1 liter of petrol for the UK is actually $1.99 in Sing. So you compare UK 1 mark, this 1 mark. And then 98 cents calculating the difference is another 1 mark. That makes 3. Shouldn't take very long, huh? Yeah. Okay, can. Question 14. Question 14 is a very interesting question. It is given that x is 20% lesser than m. Y is 30% greater than m than n. Determine if x over y is lesser or greater than n over n. I recently came to learn how to do this a faster way by watching Xiaohongshu. But I realize it's quite useful here. Let's have a look. If x is 20% lesser than m, so can I say that x is equals to 80% of m at the very least? So at least I can write it as 0.8 lah. 0.8 m. And y it's 30% greater than n. So can I say it's 1.3? 1.3 n. So what they are asking me is that x over y is 0.8 over 1.3 lesser or greater than m over n. I think it's a very rhetorical question, obviously. And obviously, it is lesser. Okay? Why? Because I don't know what they're thinking. If m over n, let's take it as 1. Because it's 1m, 1 unit of m, and 1 unit of n. So technically, it's 1. It's 1 whole. If I take m over n as 1 whole, then I take 0.8 m over 1.3 n. It's already less than 1 whole. Dude, it's already less than 1 whole. So obviously, it is lesser. I have no idea what they're talking about, but yeah, it's very obvious that it's just lesser. Okay, so therefore x, y is lesser than m over n. As, okay, show working why? Because 0.8 m over 1.3 n is smaller than m over n. That's it. It's obviously smaller because it doesn't make one whole. It's already less than one whole. 0.8 over 1.3 is already less than one whole. That's it. That is all. Unless the question asks y over x. Okay, makes more sense. Can debate a bit. But no lah. This is just straightforward as is. Because this is one whole. This is less than one whole. Done. I don't know what they want to say that, but to me, it is just this obvious. It is just this obvious. Okay. Question 14. 3 mark. Giveaway. This is a giveaway question. Okay. No. Okay, 620. Okay. Wow. You're so much already. Yeah, 6 o'clock 半刚哎。Never mind, not my employees. Okay, Mr. Cole borrows $950 at a rate of R% per year compounded quarterly. At the end of 10 years, he has paid 2.2K. Calculate the value of R. Loan shark. No, kidding. Okay, but at the end of 10 years, quite a lot of interest is being, as you can see, before you calculate the stuff, the numbers are there. But let's observe the question and appreciate a bit of the question first. Mr. Cole borrows $950. R% per year, compounded quarterly. Quite a lot quarterly. At the end of 10 years, he has paid 2.2K. So can we at least understand how much interest did this guy pay? Okay, how much interest? Okay, and because this thing works on the compound interest because it's a compound. Let's bring out the formula. Okay, so $2,200 is the final amount. Okay, the principal amount is $950. Now, what do we put inside the bracket? Very important. 1 plus quarterly means what? When we say compounded quarterly, that means right, every 3 months, if the principal will change, it will increase by a percentage such that at the end of the 4 quarters, right, all the interest right, will add up to be R. So what does it mean? Every time it compounds at a rate of R divided by 4. Compounded quarterly. That means at the end of the 4 quarters, it will increase. That means the interest rate is R%. But every time it compounds each quarter is R over 4. That is very scary. It's a big difference. For investment, you want the number to compound as many times because the principal will keep changing. A principal will keep changing. That's why the money will grow faster. Okay. So that's why for investment schemes, yes, normally it is compound half a year. Normally it's compound every 6 months for investment schemes. Okay, compound quarterly quite strong. I would say it's very strong. Okay, so at the end of 10 years, okay, what do we put as a power here? We don't put 10, this number here. We don't put 10, it's not 10. It's based on the number of times the sum is being compounded. So 1 year, because it's compounded quarterly, it means compound how many times? 4 times. So at the end of 10 years, how many times? It's 40 times. Yes, 10 years is compounded 40 times. Very important, this one. Don't miss out. This number over here, the power, is the number of times the value is being compounded. It's not the number of years. It is only the number of years when they say compounded yearly. 1 year compound 1 time. 10 years compound 10 times. It's 10 times. But in this case, it's quarterly. Okay, so 40. So from here, can solve or not? Can. From here is just straight away. 2200 divided by 950 equals to whatever that you get over here. So you get 2200 divided by 950 equals to, it's quite strong, about 2 and 6 over 19 equals to this. Okay, I can divide my R over 4 over 100 to be R over 400 over 40, like this. Okay, so from here, how to do? Okay, this one is actually quite interesting. It's actually, I want to do a 40th root, 40th root, okay? So 1 plus R over 400 equals to 40th root of 2 and 6 over 19. Okay, so for those of you who don't know how to do it, it's actually in the calculator itself. You see a x square root thing, so you key in 40, then you put in the symbol. Okay, then you get the answer. You got 1.02 something. So R over 400 equals to this thing minus 1, which is 0.02121. So therefore, R times 400. Wow, it's actually quite strong, isn't it? It's 8%. So R equals to 8.486274294. Okay, so same thing, 3 sig. So 8.49% to 3 sig. Wow, this one quite high, this one. R is 8.9, 8.49. 8.49% per year compounded quarterly. Wow, this one shake. Okay, so please don't, you all want to do money lending, okay, don't anyhow go to unlicensed money lenders. Because of this kind of terms like this, they will charge your principal amount damn high. Let's say you like borrow 10K from them. The terms is on their end. So like for example, where I believe everyone heard of like cases like loan sharks and then like credit money lenders and all these things. How they really earn is when they keep compounding. The amount they need to pay, it got so high because of all these little terms that is happening at the back. Compounded how many quarterly but how many percent it's through the changing of these little terms, right, that make the number go up very, very fast. Okay, I do hear of some stories, right? It's 10% per year compounded bi-weekly. That means every 2 weeks, 就跳了. Every 2 weeks will go up by once. That means at the end of 1 year, it's 26 times. 1 year, 26 times. And imagine the principal amount that they loan from the money lenders or loan sharks. It's like maybe 10K, 20K, 5,000, maybe $5,000. 26 times, no? It's quite crazy, especially it's 10% per year. Wow, siao one, that one, really siao one. So please don't anyhow borrow money from unlicensed money lenders. Do not do that. The terms on the contract itself will kill you. They will literally kill you. So don't do that. Okay, go and if you really need money for type 2 financial crisis, go and look for licensed money lenders. Look through all the terms and conditions very carefully. Do your sums properly. Then you go and proceed. If you don't understand the terms and conditions at the back, right, please don't anyhow. It will literally kill you. I'm very serious over here. Okay, so this is a type of questions that allows you to appreciate what's actually going on out there. Very important. Okay, so just a side note on this. Okay, so that's all for question 15. Question 15. Okay, let's move on. Given that 2 to the power a plus 2 to the power a plus 2 to the power a plus 2 to the power a is 32, find the value of a. Hiya, this one, no, this one a lot of people will get tricked. These don't get tricked. Okay. I don't understand why people have to complicate things so much. Can I just say that it's just 4 sets of 2 to the power a equals to 32. People will go and confuse things. Oh, I got 2a, 2a, 2a. No. Chill, relax. Just take it as 4 apples. Okay. Apple plus apple plus apple plus apple, 32. So 4 apples, 32. So therefore, 1 apple is 8. So 2 to the power a is 8. A is how many? 3. That's it. That is it. Okay, 8 equals to 3 because 2 cubed is 8. That's all, guys. That's all. Don't get confused, don't get freaked out over these kind of things. Okay. Don't overcomplicate. Do not overcomplicate. It's just it is. Or another proper way, maybe you want to go by the textbook way. Okay. I put this to the side. I show you what is the textbook way. The textbook way will show you this. Oh, because 4 times of 2 power a is 32. So 2 squared to the power of 2a equals to 2 to the power of 5. Okay, 2 power of 5 is 32, man. There's someone expect you to remember that. Okay, no? So 2 to the power of, okay, so it's 2 to the power of a plus 2 equals to 2 to the power of 5. Okay, so a plus 2 is 5, a is 3. Is this method allowed? Yes, of course. Is this method the proper way, the official way in answer keys? Yes, it is. But god damn it, it's 2 marks. Don't think too much. Just work it out the most simplest, most fastest, most efficient way as it is. Okay, don't spend your time and risk doing like powers, add the power together, then think 32 is 2 power what? Don't need. Relax. Just take it as simple as it is. Because it is really that simple. Okay. Okay? Can I? Okay, let's move on. Solve the equation 2 to the power of x, 25 to the power of x plus 2 times 125 divided by 5 to the power minus x is 1. Once again, from here, if you see all these weird terms, right? The first thing that you want to do, right, is always to separate the powers. Make the term and the power x, right, individual on its own. Then you go and do all the manipulation other stuff. Keep it on its own. Okay, so let's separate this. How can we separate this? Okay, I copy down question first. 25 to the power x plus 2 times 125 divided by 5 minus x equals to 1. Okay, so separate. It never hurts. Okay, 125. Can I break it down to 5 to the power something? Yes, 5 cubed divided by 5 to the power minus x equals to 1. From here, can I continue to break down my stuff? Yes, definitely I can. So this is 5 to the power of 2x. This 25 square, I don't want to break it down already because this 25 square is a term on its own. I'll show you why later. It is a term on its own. Leave it alone as it is. 625. A lot of people miss this step. Then they go and put 5 and then 5 to the power of 4. Don't confuse yourself. Leave it a term as it is. Then times 5 cubes divided by 5 power 1 equals to 1. Okay? So from here, you must be thinking, then how to do? From here, the next thing I want to do is to make at least all my powers, right, to be of a positive power. So therefore, I want to work on this one. You see, because this is actually divided by 5 over x. Sorry, what am I talking about? 1 over 5 power x. This is exactly what it means. So can I actually go and rewrite it and say it's 5 to the power x? This looks much more easy, isn't it? So 5 to the power 2x, 625 times 5 cubed equals to 1. Okay, so from here, let's bring all the like terms together because this is 5 to the power 2x plus x multiplied by 625 multiplied by 5 cubed equals to 1. So this is 5 to the power 3x. From here, you see that, yes, there's a way that I can combine my 625 with my 5 cubed. Then I can go and break it up, which is 5 to the power 4. Okay, this is 5 to the power 4, right? Let's check. Yes, it is. And then plus 3 equals to 1. So you can see 3x plus 7 equals to 0. Not 1. Why? Because 1 is 5 power 0. So 3x plus 7 is 0. What is x? Minus 7 over 3. That's my answer. 3 marks. Very clear, very transparent. Every step is being done along the way. At every point of step, I only work on one thing at one time. I don't rush to do multiple things Okay. So as you can see from the first step, the second step, I work on this two. Then on my second step to third step, I only work on this one. Okay. So I only work on changing this one. Okay. Then from the third step, I only work on this one. So one thing at a time, one thing at a time. Until when I clarify out already, okay, all these things are look good already. Okay, then I can start to group things around. Like this one and this one. Then I go and compare the powers. So do things step by step. Don't rush. Okay, it never hurts to write that one more line. Write the one more line can get you the 3 marks. Okay. Okay, question 17, I will skip because it's drawing. Question 18, sets and notation. Good morning, just woke up. Best. Okay, come let's look at here. The universal set is x is an integer 4 to 16. So it's all the numbers from 4 to 16, inclusive of 4 and 16. A is 4, 9, 16. Okay, so interesting. These are the square numbers. You see, you must remember and immediately link that 4, 9, 16 are square numbers. Okay, they are square numbers. B is 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16. Draw a Venn diagram. Okay, very straightforward. And place each showing A, B, and then place each of the elements in the appropriate part of the diagram. Okay, so normally by default, the Venn diagram will be something like this. But we need to understand and have a closer look at the elements of A and B. If we take a closer look, we realize that all the elements in A are actually in B because both of them got 4, 9, 6. 4, 9, 16. 4, 9, 16. 4, 9, 16. So what does it actually mean? That means I cannot draw the Venn diagram like that. This will be wrong. Because all the elements in A is found in B. Therefore, I need to redraw this thing and draw a small circle inside. So in this small circle, it's where A contains 4, 9, and 16. And what's outside at B will be 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16. And what's on the outside? What's on the outside means everything else. So I need to go and count. 4, 5 don't have. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 don't have. 12 don't have. 13 don't have. 14 don't have. 15 don't have. So this will be my Venn diagram. Describe the elements in set A. So very straightforward. Square numbers between 4 and 16. And list the elements contained in A intersect with things other than B. You see, because A, whatever that A have is found in B. Therefore, there are no elements that is found in A intersect with things other than B. Because this means B complement. It means there's no items. If there are no items, how to do this down? Null set. These are my elements. Okay? Don't have, nothing, 没有。Okay? Okay, let's continue. The scale of a map is 2 cm to 1 kilometer. The actual length of a road is 8.5. Find the road in cm. Very straightforward. 2 cm to 1 km. 8.5 km equals to 8.5 km times divided by 1 times 2. Our answer 17 cm. Super straightforward. One mark, instant. Okay. The area of plot of land is 9 cm square. So straight away from here, we can calculate the area scale. What they are given is the length scale, which is 2 cm to 1 kilometer. I need to make it into an area scale, which is I need to square both sides, which is like that. So 4 cm square is equivalent to 1 kilometer square. So therefore, I'm given 9 cm square. It will be 9 divided by 4 times 1 kilometer square, which is 2.25 kilometer square. 2 marks, very straightforward. 1 mark for the conversion of scales, and 2 marks, then the second mark for the answer. Okay, this 3 marks is another very low-hanging fruit. Please go and get it. Okay, let's continue. Question 20. Radius the product of its prime factor is 360 equal to 2 cubed times 3 squared times 5. Find the prime factors of 756, giving your answer in index notation. Okay, many ways to do it. Some of you do the ladder method. Some of you do the branching method. For me, I support branching, so I shall do branching. Okay, I do both. Okay, so I do both. In case some of you swear by ladder method. Okay, can. Don't say I never give. But I do branching first. Okay. So 2, I know that this number is divisible by 4. Okay, so this is 175 plus 175 plus 14 is 189. Okay, 756 divided by 4 is 189. So 189. Can I continue to divide? Yes, I can continue to divide because I know that this number is divisible by 9, which is 9 times 21. 4 times, so from here, how I do my branching, it will look like this. 9 and then 21. Then from here is 3 and 7. So 9 can be broken down to 3 and 3. So it's 3 cubed times 4 times 7. Okay, so this is the branching method, which I'm more appreciative of lah. Okay, let me just save my work for a while in case it just decide to die on me. Okay, ladder method. How to do ladder? You all like to do long division, that means you all do ladder lor. Okay, so 756 divided by 2. Okay, so you all can like 3. I don't know what this is, but yeah. 3, then 7, 8. Okay, then divide by 2. Then it'll be 189. Then divide by 3. Okay, it will be 63. Divide by 3 again, 21. Divide by 3 again, 7. Divide by 7, you get 1. So from here, same thing. So all this will be equals to 2. Oh, there's a 3 square over there. Okay, can. All right, ladder method seems to win this time. 2. So 2 squared times 3 cubed times 7. Okay, so here is 2 squared times 3 cubed times 7. Two squared times 3 cubed times 7. So find the highest common factor of 360 and 756. Let's write down, let's collate all the things together first. Let's not try to see things from different places. Okay, a lot of students have this bad habit. Don't do that. Spend some time, go and write down everything together first. Put them properly in the proper positions, then you go and compare. Okay, don't be a smart aleck. Okay, find the highest common factor. Highest common factor means what? Common bases, 2 times 3. So these two are my common bases. 5 and 7 are unique, so don't care. Okay, you take highest common factor, that means we take the lower power. So square and cube, we take square. Square and square, we take the same. So it'll be 4 times 9, which is 36. Okay, can. That's all. Moving on. Simple, right? So two methods for you lah. Either or is fine. But ladder method is provided you can do your long division fast enough. If not, you'll be spending time to do long division. To me, a bit no point lah. Okay, branching method is for me to immediately start with numbers, right, that I'm very familiar with. Then from there, you break it down to something that you're familiar with. Break it down smaller. So I started off with 4 times 189. Which is more convenient for me lah. Okay. So I don't need to be too restricted in terms of like 2 already, then 3, 3 already, then 5, 5 already, then 7. Not my cup of tea. But can it work? Okay. But can both methods work? Yes, either or is fine. Don't need to argue which one is better. Okay. As long as you can get the final answer, we are good. Okay, let's continue. Part B. Written as a product of factors, 9801 is 3 to the power of 4 times 11 square. Okay. The number 9801 m over n is a perfect cube where m and n are prime numbers. Find the value of m and n. Super easy. When they say cube, what does it mean? When they say cube, means the powers are multiples of 3. Okay, so in order to make this a perfect cube, I must make it such that, okay, copy that first. I must make this such that it is a perfect cube. That means I must make all my powers to be a multiple of 3. You see, from here, what could possibly be happening? I need to make my 3 to the power of 4 to become a 3 to the power of 3. So I need to multiply by 3 to the power minus 1. And then I make my 11 square to be an 11 cube. Okay? Times 11. So in 11 square times 11 gives me 11 cube. All right? So from here, it's quite obvious really because it's going to be 9801 times 11 over 3. Therefore, m is 11, n is 3. Super easy. Because why? This is the original form here. That is what was given to me in the question. These two things is what is new. That I need to top it up to make it into a perfect cube. Okay? Okay, let's move on. The diagram below, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's have a look. Of a plate of a center O, uniform circular ring with center B, OFG, a triangle. OD is the height of the triangle OFG. Okay, that means let's indicate some information first. First of all, this must be the height, and this must be perpendicular. Okay, let me just check my stream first. Yay, my stream hang don't know hang for how long already, but yeah, hang good I hope my stream don't get affected. Never mind. It hang at the second question.
Second question.
Oh,
Until
now. I didn't go and check my stream. I only got one stream. All right. Too bad.
maybe you got Zoom recording.
I got Zoom recording and my YouTube stream is perfectly fine. So yeah, just leave it here. Otherwise, no choice. Okay, let's continue. So Then from the graph itself, AOE 16, that's diameter. BC is 2. DM equals to FG. Oh, DM equal to FG at 6.61. Okay. And DE is 3.5. Why is it that I want to read off everything? Even though it's obviously stated in the question and it's already stated in the diagram. Okay. This step is absolutely necessary to help me understand the question better. Where is where? What numbers are they referring to? And to see whether are there any hidden information that is in the question but not in the diagram. So for example, they say that DF equal to DG equal to 6.61. Okay, but they only indicate one side. Can I top it up and say the other side is also 6.61? Just to remind myself. Quite important. Okay, I'll just leave it as it is. Okay, so from here, show that OD is 4.5. One mark, fair enough. So from here, we can say that because AE is the diameter, okay, so therefore, OE, which is the radius, which is 16/28, and OD equals to OE minus DE, which is 8 cm minus 3.5. 4.5 shown. Okay, but of course, this step is a survey because we are understanding from the diagram itself. Very important. Okay, next. The shaded region will be painted with gold paint, which costs $2 per cm square. The unshaded region will be painted with silver paint, which costs $120 per cm square. Find the cost of painting of plug. My wife said annoying. Yeah, it's a 5-mark question. Quite annoying. But let's see how long it will take to solve this question. Like I mentioned in the past, 5-mark questions that means you should be able to do it in 3 minutes. It's perfectly doable. As long as you have a clear thought process and you have a very clear plan of how to execute it. Okay, let's go and find out. Okay, of course, we must understand that this whole thing is circle, but this picture doesn't justify that it's a circle, but because of printing. Okay, it's a circle, it's a circle. Guys, it's a circle. Okay, so let's go and find out each of the different things. Yeah, it's like a triple metal, it's a metal plug. This metal plug, my wife says lao hongbo. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, but it's a full circle, guys. It's full circle. Okay, let's start how to find the stuff. Okay, as you can see, the shaded area is made up of a donut and a triangle. So in order to find a donut, it means to find the area of the big circle minus the small circle. That is the donut. Okay, so can we actually use the plan to find out our answer? Because as long as can we get an understanding is that if I find the shaded area, can I just take the shaded area? I can take the full circle minus the shaded area. I'll get unshaded. Correct or not? Yes, correct. So that means I can just lay out everything on the top. So when I do my plan, I will know exactly how to do it. And every step of the way, I am very clear what I'm doing. That is how we can achieve doing the question in 3 minutes. Okay, let's write down the plan first. Okay, so shaded equals to donut plus the triangle. Okay, and the unshaded equals to the full circle minus the shaded area. Okay, so the cost will be equals to the $2 times shaded plus 120 of the unshaded. So this is the plan. Okay, so let's go ahead and find what we need to find. This is my plan. I'm just going to lay it down here first. In exam, can you write this? Yes, you can. And you are highly encouraged to do so because this keeps you sane. Okay, don't do until halfway, calculate all the big numbers, then you go mumble and then go mind blank. Okay, please don't do that. Keep the plan in mind by writing it down. That's the best way to do it. Okay, so let's find the donut first. So answer donut. Okay, so donut is the big circle minus the small circle. Okay, let's go back and find the big circle. When I say the big circle is refers to the circle AO. That's my big circle. Okay, which is how many? Which is my radius. My radius for this one is 4. Okay, radius is 4. So it's pi r squared. Okay, minus of the small circle which is inside, which is, let's do again. The radius is 2. So now it's pi 2 squared. Okay, so this is 16 pi minus 4 pi, which gives me 12 pi. Okay, just to check that. Okay, my screen still hang. Hang. Every day hang. Okay, 12 pi. So the donut is 12 pi. Okay, at this point of time, a lot of people ask me, why leave it in pi? Since I got a value, calculator pi lah, just leave it in decimal. No. Highly recommended to leave it in pi. Leave the pi value to the pi conversion, right, to the very end. That means you work on pi, right, as if it's an unknown expression. Then you solve until the very end, right? You get an expression for the final answer, right? Then you put in the pi. Then we can guarantee 100% that your answer is the most accurate. Okay? So this ensures that, because ultimately, if you put aside the pi, these numbers are very easy to be done. 16 pi minus 4 pi, 12 pi lah. Leave it at it. Okay? So next, triangle. Half times, if we can recall, is the length, the base is how many? The base is 6.61 times 2. So it's 2 times 6.61 times how many? Times the 4.5, because that's the length of OD. Okay, OD is 4.5. Let's write it down. Then you see, without calculating any extra stuff, I see my 2 and my half can cancel already. Okay, so it's 6.61 times 45. So this is a 297.45. So my donut plus triangle, which is my shaded area, give it 297.45 plus 12 pi. Okay, so this one is plus 12 pi. I'll get an answer which is 335.149 cm squared. Okay, like I said, it is still with many decimals because we have a pi over there. But at least I know that this answer is from 297.45 plus 12 pi. Super accurate. Okay, so for the cost of the gold plated, the gold pane, okay, gold, it will be $2 times this 297.45 plus 12 pi. Let's leave it like that first. Okay, let's leave it like that first, and let's go on to find the unshaded parts. Okay, so the unshaded equals to the full circle, the full big circle. So it's pi times 8 times 8 minus of 297.45 plus 12 pi. So it's 64 pi minus 297.45 minus 12 pi. So this one will be 52. 52 pi minus 297.45. You see, I'm still leaving it in pi. I'm still leaving it in pi. It's going to be much more accurate later on. Okay, so then let's go to find my silver paints, because the silver is the unshaded. So it's silver will be equal to 120 of 52 pi minus 297.45. So now I want to find the cost of painting of everything. So it will be gold plus silver. That is what I want to find. Okay, so I can finally bring down these two things. That means this one and this one, which is how many? $2 plus 297.45 plus 12 pi plus 120 of 297 of 52 pi minus 297.45. Okay, from here, how you evaluate? Key in now, key in calculator. This is the most highest accurate answer already. So 2 times 297.45 plus 12 pi, close bracket, plus 1.2, open bracket, 52 pi minus 297.45, close bracket. The answer will be 509.3936. So $509. To this one to 2 dB lah. To 2 dB should be 39.要500块啊，好贵哦，好贵哦。But yeah. Okay, so the answer here is very systematic. We want to keep things systematic. So as you can see, every step of the way, the problem solving is very clear. The process, the thought process is very clear. Okay, so once again, I want to check whether does this really make sense, because 真的有点贵耶。Oh, I know why my answer wrong already. It's 6.61 times 4.5 lah. .5, not 45. Higher. 29.745 GG. But it's okay. You see, this is the good thing about leaving it in pi. Why? Because I made a mistake here. I openly admit I made a mistake over here. Here. This correct answer, right, should be 29.745. But do you see that it doesn't really affect all my calculations at the back? Imagine if I were to start calculating for a full decimal value for the gold and silver, the money individually. Then I have to go and erase everything, no? I have to go and erase everything, all the decimal points, all cannot use already. I have to strike off. But you see in this case, right, the only thing I have to do is to change the decimal point. Okay, I will just show you the correction process. This is the reason why, like I mentioned, this is the reason why I leave it in pi. It keeps the working clean and neat. Because if you add in the value of pi 3.14159, it's going to get very messy, and the numbers, right, that you get are meaningless. Okay, this is a very important lesson learned. So let me just change the numbers over here. So instead of 297.45, it's 29.745. Let me just go and change all the other numbers. So this is not true anymore. This is over here. Okay, this is over here. Do you see how easy it is now to actually make the changes? I don't have to make a lot of things. I just change decimal place only. But my working stays intact. That's the most important thing. I don't want to make a small mistake, right, and then change the entire working, right? Then by then, you'll be very big check already. You're very big check already. Then you really don't do it. And this is where I say that where I do checking, right? Where I do checking, what do I check for? See, the plan. The plan works out. Number 2, units is in money. Number 3, cents. Doesn't make sense. One metal plug $500 plus. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So I need to go and check. Because this $500 is too expensive really. So this answer doesn't make sense to me. So I need to go back and check my working. Yes, there's an error over there. Okay, this is the purpose of checking. And number 4, you check for handwriting. Okay, so I just, in the meantime, let's just go and change for everything. And the answer will be wrong here. Okay, so from here, let's go and calculate again. So from here, I have some blanks. So let me just go and do 29.745 to 29.745 plus 12 pi. 67.444. Okay, this one makes more sense. Okay, everything is good until all the way at the very end. So in fact, this step over here, I don't even need to evaluate because they never asked me for the exact value of the shaded area. They just need to know as long what the final amount is. I just give them the final amount. Okay, so let's be smart about it. 29.745 plus 12 pi plus 1.2 times 52 pi minus 29.745. Okay, it's still, well, my value decreased 10 times, but my number still 200多块. Let me go and check my answer again. 36. 12 pi. 52 pi. 12 pi. 4 cm. Okay, this is 4 cm minus 2 cm. Yes, correct. So this is 16 pi, 4 pi, 12 pi, correct. Donut is 12 pi. Okay, 29.745. Okay, then I need to check whether my calculator, did I press anything wrongly over here? No, my answer is much lower now. Yeah, 295 from 229. I'll be more inclined to get this answer now. 295.23. Okay. Let me see if I can get my hand on the answer key for this. This is Emacs, right? This is question paper. Where's the answer key? Oh, wait, answer key is here. See, I can get my hands on the answer key. I remember I didn't have it. Oh, answer key is here. Answer key. 2P1, 3P1, 1P2, 1P2. Question what? B, 21B. Yeah, 295.23, exactly correct. Yeah, and very interestingly is that in the question, in the answer key itself, they also left the substituting of pi, right, until the very end. So it's like what it is, 12 pi plus 29.745 times 2. Then 52 pi minus 29.745 times 1.2. Then add together. Okay, so let's put down the mark allocation over here. So this is correct already. Yes. So with the 5-mark question, I'll show you where is the mark allocation over here. Okay, number 1 is for the area of the biggest circle or triangle found, which is 29.75, which is here. Okay, then I find the donut. Donut is the second one. Okay, area of unshaded region. Unshaded region is here, which is 52 pi minus 29.745. This is 3 marks. Finding the cost of shaded or unshaded region, which is the cost, which is the 4 mark. Okay, and lastly, to add everything together, that gets me the 5 mark. Okay, so as you can see, even though I make a mistake in terms of the calculation in front, it doesn't affect the majority of my work. This is the purpose of checking, and this is how we should remedy from this checking of answer. Okay, so from here, this is where it's supposed to be. Okay, and I just make a small change to the decimal points. A small change in decimal points, and we will be able to find the answer very quickly. That means is to quickly remedy our answer. The objective of checking, right, is not to redo the paper. It's never to redo the paper, because you have no time, and your mentality and mindset, right, won't allow you to redo the paper. No time already. Too kanchong already. Okay? But how do we check for paper? Our answers is we check whether it makes sense or not. I say 500 plus, a bit high. Maybe I feel that maybe it's a bit too expensive for me. So I go back and check whether are there any calculation error. Then I say, yes, there's a calculation error. Okay, so from here on, the calculation is all straightforward. Then I just need to make the small changes. And like I said, lesson learned, take away. Do not put the value of pi early in the working. Always leave it to the end. Okay, in the answer key, they only put in the value of pi, right, to find the individual cost for gold and silver. But for me, I just leave it alone as it is, just like that. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. Okay, so I'll end off here today. I'll end off today here. Quite a lot of things that we covered through today. But of course, see next week if I want to continue this one, or I will just maybe head over to Amex. Because this week is Emax, maybe next week I'll do Amex. Then maybe when we continue, right, then I will go through the P6 papers. Yeah, we managed to do some have some students for our P6 exam training program. They enjoyed our exam training and the papers. Yeah, with my wife laughing because the paper is considered difficult, I have to say. So they learn a lot. I just have to say they learn a lot. They learn a lot in the exam training program. After they do the paper, and then we go through the paper, and then of course after that they need to do their own review and reflection about what are the things they have done well, what are the things they need to work more on. I think it's very important. It's not just about doing the paper, but to review your performance and to understand how can we do better in the next attempt. So this week will be the second week of this exam training program. Tomorrow is science. The day after is maths. So we will be continuing this all the way until the third week of June. Yeah, and then before the school reopens lah. Okay, so for those of you who wants to sign up, there are still slots available. Do let us know quickly in advance, so you all can still book for the 16 and 17 slots. Okay, that is for next week. Correct, next week. Okay, so that is all for today's stream. Hope to see you guys next week as well.